Hey, I'm Angela, and welcome to my channel, Befriend and Tend. So today I'm going to talk about dreams. Dreams have been fascinating people for centuries because they're a little bit mysterious and we're not in control, and they're full of interesting imagery and stories and fragments. A lot of people, including me, believe that dreams can be a tool for self-discovery and for self-growth. Analyzing your dreams can give you insight into the thoughts and feelings and desires that you may be too busy or unwilling to acknowledge during your waking hours. Furthermore, our conscious mind is asleep and our subconscious mind takes over. So by looking at our dreams, we can tap into some of the insights of our unconscious mind. These insights might be related to our relationships with our coworkers, our neighbors, our friends, our family, our significant other, or they may be related to unmet desires and needs that we have, or we may gain guidance about a path we should take, or we may get clues about something that needs attention in our lives. So you might be thinking, well, this sounds great, but I don't dream. There is some scientific evidence that everyone does dream. For example, there was a study where non-dreamers were woken when they got into REM sleep, and they actually could remember dream fragments. And this makes sense because dreams are thought to be really important. They provide a way for our mind to process the events of the day and to sort through the memories and the thoughts and the feelings and the images that came up, a type of mental housekeeping that allows us to function better the next day. The real issue is that most of us can't remember our dreams when we wake up and our consciousness takes over. So the best way to get around that is to write them down the minute that your eyes open. And I keep a little dream journal by my bedside table, and I jot down everything that I can remember about my dreams when I first wake up. And again, it's really important to do this before your conscious mind takes over and fills your head with all of the activities and things that you have to do during the day. And the more often that you do this, that you practice writing down your dreams when you wake up, the better you will become at remembering the details and sort of hanging on to them as you ease into consciousness and awareness. Now, once you have your dreams written down, how exactly do you interpret them? That's a great question, and there are two different tactics that people typically take to interpret dreams. Now, some people believe that dream themes and symbols are universal, that if anyone dreams about a cat, it has the same meaning regardless of who's dreaming about this cat. If this sounds like you, then you might want to buy a book of dream interpretation, which will have a list of all of the common themes and symbols and give you the corresponding meanings. I personally do not use dream dictionaries because while I do think that some themes are universal, I believe that most symbols are very unique and specific to the person who is having the dream. For example, some universal dreams are falling or flying or being chased. Dreams of falling do seem to indicate a sense of lack of control or free falling in some area of your life. Dreams of flying might be about dreams of escape or freedom or liberation. And dreams of being chased usually represents a feeling of being helpless or being threatened. For most of my childhood and adolescence, I did often dream of being chased. And in retrospect, this makes sense because I was experiencing a lot of anxiety and I was under a lot of stress. I rarely dream of being chased now, but when I do, I start tuning into what might need attention in my life, because I think that stress and anxiety can sometimes be a little bit like the proverbial frog in a pot who doesn't realize he's being cooked when the temperature increases little by little. So I think of dreams of being chased as an early warning system for myself. Dream symbols, however, I think vary depending on your culture, your personal beliefs, and your experiences. Like, consider two different people who dream about an ocean. The symbol of the ocean is going to represent something very different to the person who is looking forward to a vacation at the ocean versus someone else who is thinking of a recent tsunami in their village. So one of the most important things to consider when you're analyzing your dreams is the context of your own life. And then the second most important thing to pay attention to is the feelings that are present in the dream. A few years ago, I had a dream about my older son who has autism. And he and I were in a car. He was in the back seat and I was driving, and we were lost in a storm on top of a mountain. And so for some reason, I decided it's a good idea to get out of the car. Maybe I was going to go ask for directions. And then when I looked back, the car had started to roll down the mountain. And my fear, I was so afraid. The fear was so intense. And I just start screaming at the top of my lungs, "Take the wheel, take the wheel." And the car is disappearing out of sight. And I start running after it as fast as I can to see what happens. So at face value, this might appear to be a dream of me being concerned about my son's driving skills. But in the context of my life, I'm not actually concerned about that at all. He's a very conscientious person. He follows all of the rules, and I think he's a great driver. But what if the mountain and the storm represented life, and then the car that I was driving represented my son's life, and the fear that I had that my son wasn't going to take charge or ownership of his life. The meaning of that dream is pretty clear. My son's life has been too much directed by me, and that he is not going to have the agency to take it over and shape it when I'm not around. So that gave me information about something that needed to be priority, which is shifting control of his life from me to him. And as anyone who has a child who's had some challenges, this can be really, really difficult, but it's also vitally important. So over the next couple of years, I really made an effort to step back and to only assist when I'm asked. The really interesting thing about this dream, though, is that when I had it, I wasn't especially anxious about my son or really thinking about the future. I was busy with all of my photography clients and with all of the activities of my younger son in school, and it wasn't really at the forefront of my mind at all. But the dream sort of pointed the way to something that did need attention. So if you're interested in trying to learn more about your dreams and whether they have any messages and insights for you, then I strongly recommend getting a dream diary or a notebook. Like, you just basically need to start writing down your dreams when you wake up. I really like this one because it has a lot of room. It's 2 pages per dream, and it gives me plenty of room to write down the who, what, where, when, and how of the dreams, as in who was in the dream, what happened in the dream, where did the dream take place, and when did it take place? Was it in the past, present, or future? And how did I feel during the dream? There's also space for giving my dream a title, like what would it be called if it was a book or a movie? And then there's also space to sketch out important symbols that were in the dream, or to map out where the action happened. And then, of course, there's a lot of room to write out possible interpretations and analyses. I will add that not all dreams are significant. Like, some dreams are just fragments of images, sounds, and ideas that my brain just throws together before it's sweeping them out of my mind. But I still find those really interesting to look back on. It's sort of like wandering through a curiosity shop or a museum. Keeping track of your dreams allows you to be a gleaner of your subconscious. You're basically gathering all of these fragments of ideas and images and sights and sounds, and you're sorting through them and looking for patterns and themes. And these can help you understand yourself better and can empower you to make more intentional and valuable and meaningful choices and decisions in your life. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by clicking the like button. I'll see you in the next video.